right. How wonderful. Thank you for joining me for this evening of seasonal Zen. Well, joining me and Johnny. Johnny is setting the example of Zen for us. So, thank you. Thank you for supporting me and for supporting yourself in choosing to spend this time here this evening and to create time and space for yourself. So, I'm proud of you for doing that. And we're going to be together for 90 minutes working through just how to essentially create boundaries and to uphold them. And we're going to be talking about it in the context of Christmas, but you can use the same exercise for all kinds of boundaries. My clients use it for relationships with lovers and with their family. You can use it for creating really a job situation, or in this instance, a holiday season that you enjoy. So, we are going to be doing yoga, but it's yoga perhaps not in the sense that you might expect. And those of you who have done yoga with me know I love a fiery flow, but I also love my yin. And so this is going to be a very relaxed yoga. You're going to be seated, so you can either be seated on the floor or on a chair, whatever works for you. And so take a moment to get yourself comfy, grab a glass of water, get something to write on and with. If you have the workbook, great. If not, just use a pen and paper to follow along. And I'll be sending out the replay as well. So if you miss anything, you can always come back to it. So I think that's it for my little housekeeping. Um, I guess actually another thing, just do your best to not allow anyone or anything to interrupt you. This is 90 minutes. That's all it is. It's an hour and a half. So give yourself that time dedicated to you. Put up a little sign. I'm busy. And yeah, make this your Christmas gift to yourself. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Emma. I'm a life coach. I'm also a yoga teacher and a Reiki healer. And my passion is helping people to create lives that they're excited to wake up to every day. And a big part of that is about having confidence. And one of the key things that when you have confidence, I mean, really all kinds of things become available to you, but you become willing to establish and uphold your boundaries. And that's a really beautiful thing. So today we're going to be working on our holiday boundaries. So let's start out by just grounding here, arriving together. So get yourself comfortable in your seat. I'm actually going to just sit on my yoga block. My hips are just happier when I do that. You might have a cushion handy that you can sit on. Maybe it feels better for you to have one or both legs extended. You can grab hold of those fleshy bits and get yourself settled down. And then, if it feels comfortable to do so, let your eyes close, but otherwise just soften your gaze. Let your hands fall where they will. We're going to take 3 intentional breaths together in through our nose and out through our mouths. So, taking your first deep inhale through your nose, and then exhale, sigh it out through your mouth. Inhale and release. And then on this next inhale, take in even more air than you did before. This time, really fill up your belly and your lungs, and then hold your breath at the top. Take in a sip more air, and then sigh it out. Really let everything go. And keeping your eyes closed, take any movements that feel good in your neck and in your shoulders. And then, when you're ready to do so, blinking your eyes back open, returning to our space together. And on your next inhale, take your arms and sweep them up overhead, being careful not to hit your dog or your Christmas tree. And stretch up, maybe looking up at your hands. And then as you exhale, come down and give yourself a hug. Right over left or left over right, whichever way feels good. You're going to switch it on the next time. So give yourself a beautiful hug here. Maybe stroking your shoulder blades. Give yourself a squeeze. Someone told me that apparently we need 9 hugs a day. So if you haven't had enough hugs, you get to top up now with yourself. Take a nice deep inhale, sweep your arms up again. And then on this exhale, coming down and crossing over, hugging the other way. So this is probably the way that your arms feel weird. Maybe it feels like someone else is hugging you this time. And then releasing that down, rolling your shoulders. Maybe hunch them up, hunch your shoulders up towards your ears, and then exhale and let them go. Let that tension drop out of your shoulders. I'm going to do a little seated twist here. So take a nice deep inhale. And then as you exhale, turn and look over your left shoulder, bringing that right hand to the outside of your left knee. You'll feel a little twist in your lower back. And if you're seated in a chair, same thing. You're just going to put your hand on your thigh and twist around. And releasing, coming back to center. Take a nice deep inhale. And then coming around to the other side. Oops, remember I've got my hot chocolate there. I nearly put my hand in that. So once again, twisting, breathing into that twist here. Beautiful. And then releasing. So take any movements that your body's craving right now, work out any kinks. And then we're going to come into stillness for a meditation. So find a position that's comfortable for you. That can be where, as you're seated, maybe you want to lie down on your back. Sometimes I like to lie on my back and then with my knees bent and my feet on the floor. Doing whatever works for you to get comfortable. And allowing your eyes to close here. And just centering. Notice your inhale, feeling that cool air coming in through your nose. And then exhaling, feeling that air warm. Noticing if you're holding tension anywhere in your body and inviting it to release. Not making it mean anything. Just letting it go. And I invite you to think about your ideal holiday season, like your perfect holiday season. Let go of reality and the constraints of what is possible or probable. And instead think about what you want, what your beautiful little heart desires. Let yourself daydream and fantasize here. Maybe you don't want any Christmas. You'd just like it to be just like any other time of the year. Maybe you want to be surrounded by friends and family. Whatever it is that you desire, let yourself really think about all the aspects of that. Who do you want to be with? What do you want to be doing? How do you want to be feeling? What do you want to think? For me, some of my favorite holiday activities are listening to Christmas music while I decorate, baking, going to midnight mass, and then being on my own and going outside and enjoying being with nature, and of course, curling up by the fire. What are your favorite things to do? What do you want more of in your life? I'm thinking about all of those things, the experiences that you want to have. Let me just stop you here in case your brain is going to what you don't want. We're going to get there, but leave that for now. This is about what you do want. So if you've caught yourself going down that avenue of what you don't want, just set that aside and return to what you do want. Again, we're not talking about what is probable or possible, we're talking about what you want. So maybe you want to spend Christmas with your parents, but your parents are gone. That's okay. Put that down because you can think later about how you can get closer to whatever experience it is that you want. So you can write down or think about here. Sorry, we're going to write this down in a bit, but for now, you're just imagining and visualizing and feeling what it feels like to experience your perfect holiday season. And then gently rousing yourself from your cozy position, maybe wiggling your fingers and toes, coming back to the space that you're in right now. And I invite you to grab your workbook if you have it, but otherwise, just a pen and paper. And I want you to write down, what is your ideal holiday season? What are the things that you most want? And just jot those down. Make a list. I'll give you a couple of minutes while I sip on my hot chocolate and give Johnny a cuddle. And again, it's not realistic. So they might be, but don't get hung up on that, okay? This is your beautiful dream. And those of you who've done workshops with me before know that I always like to play along too. So I'm going to write down my list of the things that I desire. All right, I'll just give you another minute to finish those thoughts. And you can always come back to this and add more later, right? So it's fun to do that because the chances are probably you might even dream up some more things tonight that you'd like to add to that list. So, you know, the work that you are doing on yourselves is never done. So you can always come back and revisit any exercise or any thought work that you've done because life is about evolving and growing. All right, so putting our notes down for now, and let's just do a little bit of stretching here into our neck. So again, sitting in whatever position works for you. My hips have decided that being cross-legged is no longer functional. I have not been attending enough yoga classes, is what my body is telling me. So I'm just going to do some little neck stretches here. So drop your left ear down to your left shoulder, and just stretching out there. And if you feel like you want to add a little bit more, you can bring that left hand just to rest on top of your head gently, adding a little bit of weight. And then again, being careful of your hot chocolate or your Christmas tree. You can also stretch that right hand out. Just feeling into that stretch here, letting go of any tension that's accumulated, breathing, and just being. If you've got your hand extended or on your head, releasing that, and then just gently coming back to center. And just take a moment, and then coming over to the other side. Oh, there was some crackle and pop there. Be really gentle. Our necks are very vulnerable, but it's also a place where we can hold and accumulate a lot of tension. So you're just stretching out as much as feels available to you. That's one of the important things with yoga is respecting your body, meeting yourself where you're at, not having any expectations that you should be able to do more. Listening to your body and honoring what you need in that moment, releasing, coming back to center, and then drop your head forward so you're stretched out here down the back of your neck, just gently letting your chin come towards your chest. And as you sink into this stretch, staying here for longer, you'll notice that you're kind of feel it more, and perhaps you're able to deepen the stretch. Or maybe you need to back off, doing whatever's right for you. Noticing if one side feels different than the other. Not making any judgments about that, just noticing. Gently bringing your head back up to center. And then very, very gently looking up a little towards the ceiling. So you're going to stretch out the front of your neck here, but definitely taking very great care. Our heads are heavy. You want to be gentle, moving that thing around. Just breathing here, letting yourself really feel your breath in your throat chakra. That's all about communication. And communication is a two-way thing, right? So it's about you communicating and being heard, but it's also about you receiving information and being open. And so take a moment here to open that beautiful throat chakra and be willing to explore new ideas. Be willing to listen to your heart. Maybe you listen to that little inner voice that you keep pushing down and telling to shush. Ever so gently coming back to center and moving just within your range of motion, within your abilities and what your body's capable of. I'm just going to turn and looking over your left shoulder. Again, noticing where you feel that stretch. Maybe you feel a little compression on one side of your neck and a stretch on the other. Breathing and being, enjoying this beautiful moment for yourself, with yourself. Coming back through center and over to the other side. Maybe your eyes are closed, or maybe you can gaze upon whatever's there. Christmas tree, a dog. Hmm. Coming back to center again. I'm going to do some little seated cat-cows here. So rolling your shoulders forward, rounding your back. I'm going to take a few breaths here, really letting each inhale really expand your shoulders and your ribs. And then with each exhale, softening. This is a beautiful pose for opening your heart chakra, because our chakras are three-dimensional. So it's not just at your front, it's at your back as well. So imagine each breath separating your ribs along your back, creating more space in your chest and your heart chakra, opening up to love and to gratitude. And then we're going to come into our cow. So maybe you put your hands behind you. You're going to push your belly out, bring your shoulders back. And this time we're stretching out through our chest here. So opening the front of our heart chakra. And then maybe it feels good to kind of flow through some of those, inhaling and exhaling, and play around with which feels good to you to be an inhale and which feels good as an exhale. I'm just doing a few of those until you feel like you've got all those spinal juices warmed up, opening your energy centers to be able to relax, to be able to calm, and to be able to receive all the beautiful thoughts you're offering yourself today. All right, so now I'm going to give you permission to go to that what I don't want area. So settle in once again for a bit of meditation. And it's important to not rush ahead here and grab your pen and start writing this down. Give yourself the gift of time. Allow yourself time to sit and think and feel. So choosing your meditation position, be it sitting or lying, your eyes closed or an unfocused gaze. And think about those aspects of the holiday that you could really do without, the ones that are expendable to you. What are the experiences that perhaps you've had before that you don't wish to have again? Or maybe there's something that hasn't happened, but you're dreading that it might. What are the kind of thoughts that you don't want to have? You know, for a lot of people, drama around finances, we can often feel pressured into spending more money than we'd perhaps like to on gifts and various other commitments. Maybe you really don't want to go visit your brother or your sister, but you always have to. What are the things that you don't want to happen? Ooh, hi. He walked on the mouse there. Letting yourself think about, what do I not want? What am I a no for? And again, I'm not saying that this is realistic. This is about you thinking about, what do I not want? Maybe you don't want to be part of like a big gift exchange. Maybe you don't want turkey. Make a list of, or in your head, you're thinking about the things that you don't want. And let yourself have the time here to think through that list. So you're not just getting stuck on that first thing that stands out to you. What are there's like big things and there's little things. So let yourself think about all of those things that you don't want. Hello. And then coming out of your meditation and taking up your writing instrument. And now write down. So if you're in your book, it's on page 3. Writing down your expendable list, the things that you don't want. And while you do that, I'm going to go let Johnny out to pee because he's got terrible timing. I'll be right back. Okay, you have to go on your own. You have to come right back, okay? Go on. So making that list of all those things that you don't want to experience. And they can be situations, they can be thoughts, they can be feelings. Like I've written down, I don't want to experience loneliness and guilt. Think about the different things that you are a no for this holiday season. I can hear Johnny running up the stairs. Good boy. Yes, you are. Oh my goodness, now he's gone to the bedroom. Johnny, it's 6:30. It is not bedtime. No. Okay, so taking a couple more moments there to write down those things that you're a no for. You can come back. All right. Putting your pen and paper down. And let's let go of that because we were just kind of in a bit of a possibly a negative place. We were thinking about things that we don't want. So like shake it out if you want to stand up, but move your body, like physically shake and get that energy moving. This is a really good thing. You know, like when little kids have temper tantrums, it is so powerful to let yourself do that sometimes when you're feeling like stressed out or angry is so incredible to actually. I don't recommend that you do it in the grocery store, but in the privacy of your own home, like throw yourself on your bed and rage and have a temper tantrum. It's amazing. Try it. You may need to try it over the holidays. Yeah, physically releasing when you've been going to like dark thoughts can be really helpful to then just get that moving, get that gone. All right. I'm going to do a little bit more movement here. I got to readjust again. I don't know about you, but my body just is not happy and staying in one place anymore. All right, so inhale, bring your hands up overhead. Now you can't see me in the video, but what you're going to do is you're going to grab hold of your left wrist with your right hand and then just gently pull yourself over to the right side. So you're stretching out all through the side here. And what you want to do is try to not let your right side collapse. So you're staying up tall but stretching out. And like don't wrench your arm. It's just holding, giving yourself that little extra stretch. You might feel it in your shoulder as well as down through your lats. Releasing, bring your arms up and then shake that out and let those shoulders go. And then inhale up once again, switching hands this time, coming over to the other side. Oh, a little pop in my shoulder there. Gosh, my body definitely needs this. And breathing, letting yourself sink into that stretch. Mm, Inhale up and release once again. Again, shaking that out. And then bring your hands with your fingers pointing down and place them at the small of your back. And just pressing into the small of your back, bringing your elbows towards each other. And you're opening up through your chest here, but you're also kind of stretching out through your lower back. Can feel really nice. And again, just doing that within the limits of your physical ability. Meeting yourself where you're at today. And release. Oh, I'm one of those people that carry like all my tension in my shoulders, well, my back, neck, and shoulders. But doing this has made me realize just how tense my shoulders are. This is great. Thank you, everyone, for coming and providing me with a motivation to do yoga. Just an aside, as a yoga teacher, it's funny how many times people will come to my class and say, like, I don't go as often as I should. I'm not as flexible as I should be. It's the same for yoga teachers as well. We could all do more yoga, but creating the time to do it is a challenge. We have to choose to make that time for ourselves because we all know the positive difference that it has for us. Looking at who's here, and picking on one person in particular. Yoga is life changing. And so make the time, even if it's 5 minutes, like before you get out of bed or before you go to bed, to do a little bit. It's going to have a huge impact on you physically and mentally. So how about together, myself included, myself especially, we commit to at least 5 minutes of yoga a day. And as you've seen, yoga can be sitting doing some stretches, it can be breathing, or it could be doing sun salutations. What do you think? Let's commit to doing it for the rest of the year, every day, 5 minutes of movement, 5 minutes of yoga of some form. And then I'm sure we're going to feel so good that then we'll just carry on that momentum into the new year. Okay. All right. Now we're going to think about the things that you're sort of like kind of meh about. So settle down once again into your seat, lying down. You can change whatever you like a meditation pose. Let's actually just kind of go over into that. Like this is your classic meditation pose, right? When you think of seeing the yogi under the tree in his whatever, like white kind of rags or something. But you don't have to, this doesn't have to be a meditation pose. You can meditate walking, you can meditate lying down, you can meditate sitting, you can meditate lying on your stomach, on your side. It's about finding a position in which you can not fidget. And that's why walking meditation is really great because it's really hard to not fidget. So find a position that works for you. Close your eyes or let your gaze unfocus. And then think about what are things that you like are really not plussed about. You're like, I could take it or leave it. If someone suggested that, I'd be okay with it. But if we didn't do that, I'd be okay with it too. What are the things that you're okay with? Maybe you're like, I really don't want turkey, but I'm okay with ham. Maybe I'm okay with seeing my sister for an hour. Maybe you're okay with going for a walk. You're okay with small gift exchange. Think about those things that you could take or leave, things that you don't feel strongly about. And all these exercises that we're doing here together are a really important part of self-awareness. It's about you thinking about what do I actually want or not want? How do I feel? Like really, rather than how I think I should feel or what I think I should want. There's so much marketing and societal pressures to what we should want at this time of year. Let go of that. And so you've thought about the things that you feel strongly about, the yes, the no, and now this is like gray in between space. Explore that for yourself. Picturing yourself experiencing these things that just don't provoke a real strong reaction in you. Now coming out of your repose and taking pen or pencil to paper. And on page 4, or on your paper, writing your holiday okay list. What are the okay things? And it's okay if you find this challenging, because I'm asking you to think about something you don't feel strongly about. So dig deep, put something down. Put at least 3 things down, okay? You know, these are the things like, I don't hate it, but I don't really want to do it either. I've written down socializing. It's up to you, it's your list. You get to be honest with yourself here. I feel like Johnny's okay list is being in a dog bed on the floor, but he'd clearly rather be on the couch or on my bed. Okay. It's funny now I'm noticing every time I say okay. We're going to do a little bit of leg stretches now. So a little bit more movement, but again, if you're sat in a chair, you can totally do this in the chair. I'll walk you through how to do it. What you're going to do is you're going to take your right leg and bend it and bring this is if you're on the floor, bring your foot to the inside of your thigh, and then you're just going to lean forward over that extended leg. Now, if you're in a chair, what you're going to do is you're just going to bring that right ankle onto your knee and then lean forward. And we're opening up here through that hip flexor on the outside of that right glute. Maybe you reach forward and grab hold of your toe, or maybe you're resting your hands on your knee or somewhere in between. Just letting yourself sink in here. Let the weight of your body falling forward deepen that stretch. Maybe you give your toes a little massage, little foot massage. Say thank you, feet. You do a lot of walking around, being shoved into uncomfortable shoes. Give your feet some love. Maybe you're looking, I've got my socks on, but maybe you're looking at your toes thinking, I need to add pedicure to my must list. Just breathing here. Again, letting yourself be. If your mind is wandering, just lovingly notice and bring it back to this space. Come back to your breath. Come back to now. Using your fingertips, walking yourself back up. Oh, straightening that leg out, giving it a little shake. And then we're going to switch to the other side. So bending your left leg. My knee is this, we're different on each side, right? So that knee is like, I don't want to do this. So then don't do it as deep. So my foot is only at my knee here, not up on my thigh. So meeting yourself where you're at, right? And see it's like sticking up, that's totally fine. You can even, maybe support your body with a dog, a block, a cushion. Then folding forward, and then over your extended leg here. Feeling that stretch through your back. And also inviting that stretch through your hip. Our hips are another place that we store a lot of tension and a lot of emotion. So it's really good to do hip releases. Again, if your mind's wandering, just lovingly coming back to here and now. Noticing if you can sink any deeper into the pose, or if you'd like to back off, or if it feels just right where you are. Find what feels good for you and honor that. Gently walking yourself back up. Oh, that feels so good in my low back. Shaking those little legs out once again. And then getting yourself in a comfy position for doing some more writing, making you work. But it's putting in the work that gets the results, right? So next, what we're going to do here is going to look at what are the things on our must-have list and our expendable list that we're going to pick three things that we're like, I really want that. But before we do this, I want to just talk a little bit about decisions because there's two parts to the decision-making process, right? There's making the actual decision, and then there's implementing it. So we're just making the decision here. And in making the decision, that may not be what we end up implementing. So again, it's separating yourself from all those constraints of reality. Because if you let yourself stay in the, yeah, but that's not possible, then you block yourself. You block yourself from exploring possibilities. So this is an exercise here in just deciding what you would like. So from your list of things that your must-have list, your yes list, look through and what are the top three things? Like if you could only have three, what are those top three things? Again, it may not be realistic. Like I have a powder day written down. If anyone's seen the snow forecast, it's not going to happen. But I could still want it, right? So underline or circle the three things that you're like, I'm going to make this happen by hook or by crook. I want this. Mhm. You've got three things highlighted, circled, underlined on your must-have list. Now head over to your expendable list. What are the things that you are absolutely a no for? So you're like, I'll go see my brother, but I am not sleeping on that air mattress that deflates and wakes me up in the middle of the night because I'm on his basement concrete floor. Maybe it's like, I am not doing that big holiday gift exchange. I'm not going into debt to buy presents. I'm not buying presents out of guilt. What are you taking a stand against? Again, like I'm looking at my listeners, like it may not be realistically achievable, but I'm like, I do not want that. I'm not having that. Mm. It's hard. I have four things on my no list, and it's like a tie. I want, I don't want any of them. But I've said to pick three because we're being realistic here. I mean, you can totally go for all of them. But I want you to, I'm saying to pick three rather than picking just one because I want you to create a life that you love. I'm for you creating an amazing life. And so you just picking one thing, that's not amazing. I want you to stretch and reach and believe that you deserve all the incredible things. And so you need three things that you're a yes for and three things that you're a no for, okay? And then we're going to start out here by thinking about your yes list. Now, like I said, so we've done that deciding, but then the implementation is the whole other piece, right? So this is where, again, you get to use your beautiful creative brain for you, not against you, and think about ways that we can problem solve for it. So What is one of your must-have things that you've circled or underlined for yourself? And if it's achievable, great, perfect, love it. But if there's some tweaking that's needed, then let's go there and explore that together. What are you doing? Johnny's telling me he needs a pedicure. So, for example, like how I've written here in the workbook, maybe you have this dream of going to the Christmas market in Prague, but taking a European vacation is just not possible. Well, perhaps instead you could see where can you go to that is realistic. I just saw on social media today someone posted Leavenworth down in Washington State. So that's like, I don't know, like 8 hours drive from me. And it's this Bavarian town in Washington State. So maybe instead you take a weekend trip to Leavenworth because that's more achievable than Prague. Maybe you really want to snowboard in powder, but there is no powder at the mountain where you are. Like perhaps you can go to a different mountain. Or maybe you can adjust that goal to be like, okay, well, I'll do that in February or something like that. So, for any of those dreams that you have that feel unachievable, how can you tweak them? How can you move that goal or adjust it so that you get close to having it? Maybe it's a feeling that you want to have. Like, I talked about what if, like, I wish that I could hang out with my mom. Like my mom and I love going to the pantomime at Christmas time, but there's no mom anymore. So how could I instead like create that for myself? And so maybe I'll reminisce about pantos that mom and I went to or something like that. And panto is like a super English thing. I just realized that. Google it. I shan't explain it here. Thinking about what you need to do to adjust that. So prioritize and adjust that must-have list. And then on page 5, write your 3 holiday must-haves in their new viable format. So what is that going to be for you? I got mixed up here and I've written on the wrong pages. Okay. See, one of mine is sleeping in. Check. I can do that. That's easy. Actually, it's not, because someone doesn't understand the concept. But what we do is I'll get up and feed him, and then we go back to bed. So it's kind of the same as sleeping in. Well, maybe one of your must-haves is a feeling. Like maybe you want to feel special or luxurious. How could you engender that? Like what could you do? What could you do? Not what could other people do to make you feel special? What could you do to make yourself feel special? And you turn that then into that new must have. This is about you taking control of your life, choosing your destiny, designing your destiny. Then we're going to go on to that expendable list. And most often, what I find with my clients is the things here that are the things that you don't want to do. Usually, they're often associated with other people and not wanting to let people down or what other people might think about you. I invite you to think so, those 3 things that you highlighted, that you're like, I do not want that. Is there space for you to just say no? Like, think about the example I gave about going to your brother's and sleeping on that leaky air mattress. What if you just said no? What would actually happen? Maybe you're not there yet. Maybe you're not ready to go there, that full whole hog yet. So, how can you adjust that to make it more tolerable for yourself? So perhaps it's like, I'll go to my brother's, but I'm going to stay at a hotel. Or I'm going to go on Wayfair and buy my own air mattress and take it with me. Or maybe you say, no, let's actually, you come to me. Or I just come for lunch. Whatever the things are on your I don't want list, how can you adjust those to make them within your reach? And this is an area that okay list can be really helpful, because maybe there's something on your no list that you don't want, but could you substitute it with something from your okay list? So maybe like you hate ham, you do not want ham, but you're okay with turkey. So, okay, well, look, I'll come for dinner, but can we please have turkey, not ham? Is there space for compromise there so that you're not feeling resentful? Because if you go into any situation already feeling resentful, you know where that's going to go, right? You're going to end up going into the situation with a bad attitude, and that's going to show in your energy. And then people respond to you with a bad attitude, which will make you have even more of a bad attitude. And that's, to be honest, isn't that what happens like so much at Christmas? So enough of that. By you actually taking time to think about what you do and do not want, for you to create your boundaries, then you're saying no to anger and resentment. And instead of you just expecting people to know what you want or don't want, you're thinking about that for yourself and you're asking for it. So you're saying to your brother, I love you, but I actually don't want to spend a whole weekend at your place. I'm just going to come for lunch. Not notice how there was no, is that okay? It's like, this is what I want, and I'm just going to do this. There's something incredibly powerful about just stating your position, not needing to add on all that fluff of explaining, justifying. Think about what you want, feel good about your decision, and then just calmly state it. It's pretty amazing. So, think about those three things and figure out like how can you decline them or what can you change about them? And again, or if it's a feeling, what can you do about that? So, I shared earlier, I had loneliness and guilt. Well, how do I say no to those? So, thinking then about, well, what are the kind of things that I'm going to feel guilty about? And how can I change that? So, either choosing to do that or not do that, or change how I think about it. So, how are you going to say no? How are you going to decline those three things on your expendable list? Or come up with a plan. So there you go. You have designed your very own stress-free holiday. How exciting is that, right? And you can use this tool for all kinds of situations. And you can use it to like revisit it and go back through it as well and think about going into deeper detail or maybe new things come up for you. But for now, I want to take you back to that beautiful, wonderful place of your dream, of what you're going to enjoy. So I invite you to settle down now into Shavasana if that appeals. So lying on your back. I love when I'm in Shavasana to put a bolster or a cushion under my knees, put a blanket over me. If you have an eye mask, oh, that's like next level. Or if you want to stay seated, just cozying down into your cushions, finding a comfortable space for you, letting your eyes close. And take yourself to picturing those three things on your holiday yes list and thinking about those and what it's going to be like to experience that. Imagining, picturing yourself in that future, in that place, whatever experience it is that you're calling in, whatever thoughts or feelings. Let yourself really go there, picturing it as if it's happening. Or if that's hard for you, thinking about, imagine telling someone about what it was like to be there. Imagine describing it. And let yourself just enjoy being in that warm embrace of probability, possibility, of joy and delight, of experiencing what you desire, what you want. And if your mind starts wandering off to other things, lovingly coming back, reminding yourself, I'm picturing what it will be like to experience the things I want. It's normal for your mind to wander. It's totally possible just to come back to a different intentional thought. Letting yourself daydream. Stay in this space, lovingly returning each time your mind wanders. And know that I'm going to bring you back at exactly the right time. So stay there in your beautiful dream. And beginning to wiggle your fingers and toes. bringing yourself back to this space. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose and then exhale side out through your mouth. Maybe taking your arms up overhead, stretching out, reaching from your fingertips to your toes in a big good morning stretch. And if you're lying down, rolling over onto your side, it can be your left side or your right side, whichever feels right to you. And curling up for a moment in fetal pose, using your arm or your hand as a pillow. And whatever position you're in, giving yourself a little hug here, offering yourself some love and gratitude for showing up here today, for tending to your beautiful flame so that your light can shine bright in this world. Gently finding your way back to a seat and blinking your eyes back open. You've given yourself that gift of exploring possibility, of letting yourself dream, of letting yourself think about what's important to you and how you can actually implement that, what's viable to make that possible for you. And so keep this list handy because it's going to help you to remember what's important to you and why. And that helps you to keep those boundaries when they get tested, when your brother says, "Oh, but come on." Like, no, this is what's important to me. And reminding yourself, you can drop back into that visualization of what it'll feel like to have said yes to you, what it's going to feel like to have that holiday season that you want. And like I said, you can use this system for literally any kind of decision that you're making as well, for creating any kind of experience. Planning vacations, that's something that my clients have used it for. Meals as well. Now, the fact is that there are going to be times that you're going to be triggered. It's life. And so that's why on page 8, you've got your bonus stress management techniques. I'm going to take you through those briefly because we do get triggered and agitated by situations. And the key is to interrupt that as early as you can, to bring your nervous system down, to self-regulate before things spiral. So when you notice yourself getting triggered, and that might look like maybe you start like sweating or shaking, or you get flushed, maybe you get a headache. Know what your triggers are when something is starting to agitate you. And then try these different things, see which ones work for you. So the first one, I call it conscious touch. And you can do this with anything, but I've got, actually, let's use my hot chocolate mug. I'm going to hold a mug. Maybe you have a mug there, or maybe you can put your hand on your lap, on a table, on the arm of the chair, on your dog. Reach out and touch something. And then notice, bring your mind out of the drama and into that thing. What is its temperature? Is it warm or cold or hot? Is it soft or hard? Is it textured or smooth? Just bring your attention out of your brain and into your body. And what I love about this one, like you can do it in a meeting. I've often put my hand on the desk. You could do it at dinner, Christmas dinner. Maybe you just reach out and grab that wine glass and hold on to it. And instead of thinking about whatever's triggering you, you're coming into that. And that calms down your nervous system and brings you out of that fight or flight. and gives you a chance to regulate and to respond rather than reacting. Another thing you can do is 5 things. One of the things that I love about this is my brain gets into a little bit of overwhelm of like, which is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. I've stopped thinking about whatever it was that was stressing me out, and I'm thinking about this. So you're going to look around like, what are 5 things that you can see? So do this now and look and just in your head name 5 different things that you can see. And then see, I've got to look here because I can't remember. 4 things that you can hear. And there might be things that are close. There might be things that are distant. So it's like I can hear me, my computer fan, Johnny breathing. Kind of hard to pick a 4th one. But occasionally I can hear my neighbors. And then find 3 things that you can touch. 2 things that you can smell. And 1 thing that you can taste. I can taste hot chocolate. And that's again, you're bringing yourself out of your mind, out of your drama, into your body, interrupting that stress response to give yourself a chance to take your brain back over. We go into, it's called an amygdala hijack, where the reptilian part of our brain takes over and we no longer have that high functioning part of our brain. It literally gets disconnected and we're just using that reptilian part of our brain in the back. So you want to interrupt that before that happens so that you can use your prefrontal cortex to actually think rationally and be like, yeah, no, I'm not going to say that. I might think that, but I'm not going to say that. The 3rd thing I have listed here is acupressure for headaches. Often stress can cause headaches. So a few different pressure points that you can use. One is this tender spot here in between your thumb and your forefinger. So in the web there. What you're going to do is you're going to take your opposite thumb and get in there. And you'll find like there's a spot where you're like, oh yeah, that's like more than the others. And you can either press on it or you can wiggle, whatever feels best to you, like if it's just solid pressure or massage, and then alternate and do the other side. And these are techniques that were taught to me by an acupuncturist, acupressure. So they're like actual pressure points from traditional Chinese medicine that work to help stop headaches. Your third eye, so that spot between your eyebrows. And I feel like intuitively, we kind of do that, right? You might catch yourself and you got a headache pressing that spot. So again, applying pressure there. And then reach around behind you and just at the base of your skull, you'll find like these indentations. And so I find like using my pointer and my middle finger is really the best way to get in there. And again, applying pressure or massage. Or if you have a friend who can do that for you, even better. So that's really good for headaches. And then a breathing exercise that I love, it's a real game changer, is alternate nostril breathing. And this works because it alternates between your left and right side of your brain. And that has a really calming effect. And again, it requires your attention. So it's going to take your attention away from whatever's causing you drama. So you're going to use your ring finger and your thumb to rest on your nostrils. I'm going to take off my glasses here because it doesn't work so well with your glasses in the way. And then you're going to rest your pointer finger and your middle finger just on your forehead, and let your thumb and and that ring finger just rest on your nostrils. You're not applying any pressure at the moment. And then gently closing the nostril that your thumb is over, and then exhale through that open nostril and inhale through the open nostril. Lift up your thumb and then put your ring finger down. Then you're going to exhale through that thumb nostril and inhale through it. and then switching your thumb and ring finger again. And so by gently applying pressure, you're opening and closing that nostril. So just let yourself go through a few rounds of breath here, exhaling and then inhaling, switching, exhale and inhale. And just notice how that feels for you. That one you can't quite subtly pull out at the dinner table, but maybe you pop to the bathroom and do that. Do 10 rounds of alternate nostril breathing and allow that to calm you down and reset your nervous system. All right, so you have your strategy, you've got your plan, you know what you want, you know what you don't want, and you've got a plan for how to communicate that and how to make that happen. And you've got some techniques that you can use if things do get too much to help calm your nervous system. And you got to spend 90 minutes here this evening taking care of you, which is a beautiful, wonderful thing. And I'm so proud of you for choosing to do that. Now, if you would like to hear about when I have my next free workshop, definitely subscribe to my newsletter. That way you'll be the first to hear about it. Oh, and as well, please, like if you enjoyed what I have to say today, please tell a friend because I'm all about helping as many people as possible. And wouldn't that be lovely if you could help your friends enjoy calm as well? So definitely let them know they can follow me on social media at The Life Untethered or just hit up my website at lifeuntethered.com. I'm going to send you a link to the replay as well, so you can definitely watch that and, of course, share that with your loved ones. Again, thank you so much for choosing to spend the evening with me. The light in me sees the light in you. Have a beautiful evening.